going to show you how to play Use Me by Bill Withers. We're going to learn 2 different ways of playing the rhythm chord stuff, and then we're going to learn that awesome riff followed by that cool little chromatic thing. I'm going to save that for the very end, so make sure you stick around, watch the whole video. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the chords and the rhythm on the kind of, all that stuff. So it's a funky kind of groove, and it's got some unusual shapes, so I'm going to give you plan A, plan B. Here we go. The way that I like to play it is I like to play the A string, 7th fret with my first finger. I like to play the G string, 7th fret with my middle finger. And with my 4th finger, or 3rd, whatever you want, play the 8th fret of the B string. Now, I'm not doing that, right? You're seeing that I'm actually, with my first finger, doing a ton of muting, work on that. That finger is muting basically everything except for the note it's playing, which is the root note, the note of E here on the 7th fret A string. Work that. Okay, got it? Beautiful. Once you got it, and you hear it clean like that, you're ready to move on to the next chord, which, good news, it's the same shape. If you just take that shape, scoot it down 1 fret, 1 more fret, and move it over a set of strings. How cool is that? We've got the next chord. There's only 2 chords. That's the final chord. So that's an A dominant 7. Okay, so that's same thing, but in a different kind of place. So it's going to be the 5th fret of the E string, 5th fret D string, and then we've got the 6th fret of the G string. Again, 1st, 2nd, and 4th or 3rd finger in terms of the finger positionings. It's all the same. So I'm muting, again, a lot of the background here with my first finger. That is something that you might want to work on separately. In fact, I might just advise you to do this. Play just the first note there, that E string, 5th fret. Try to mute everything behind it, and then build the fingers in there. That tip's worth its weight in gold. Okay, so basically, now you've got the groove. Back and forth, right? And you're like, all right. Once you're there, I actually want you to work on the second thing, which is to do this. Hear me out. Just trust me. I've been doing this a long time. You're like, what? Yes. Get to where you can do that. On, off. Okay? So here's why. Because that funky groove. Right? So to be able to cut that off by just relaxing the hand, you'll be able to get that kind of percussive, funky off button. Okay? So I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3. And on that 3 is where I'm cutting it. I just basically relax my fingers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And on the and of B4, that up strum, I come back for a quick, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Down, up, down, up, down. And by the way, this is just doing this the whole time. The real magic is here in that left hand. That's the hard part. Get that first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then the next little bit is gonna, check this out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And. So they're gonna be getting a lot of that kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not gonna spend too much more time on that particular groove, but that's essentially what you wanna work for both of those chords, okay? Now, if you're like, dude, these chords are not working for me, I don't like it, but I've been playing for a while, so do I have another option? Yes. These chords are really kind of outlining, okay, an E, 7 sharp 9, the good old Hendrix chord. That's essentially what you want to think of, right? So that's the A string, 7th fret, D string, 6th fret, G string, 7th fret, and then 8th fret of that B string, and then muting everything else. So that's totally cool as well. So that's an E, 7 sharp 9, and that's a A dominant 7, also known as A7. So I'm just barring the 5th fret. 3rd finger is on the A string, 7th fret. Middle finger's on the G string, 6th fret, and that's an A7. So totally cool, or whatever floats your boat. All right. Now that you got that, let's do the riff. This is the fun part. Okay, I'm getting a little crazy here, but here it is. It's basically a little funky groove in E minor pentatonic. I'm thinking a little bit of box 3, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. That nice little box that all these, all us guitar players love. So he's really existing mostly in that, riffing around in that. And he's just kind of breaking some of those rules with this chromatic walk up back to the beginning of the riff. And I'll show that to you at the end. So we're going to take the 5th fret A string, hammer onto the 7th fret. And then we're going to play the D string, 5th fret. And I'm going to cut that. Okay? So that's kind of chunk 1. In fact, let's add that root note, 7th fret, A string to chunk 1 as well. Chunk 2 is going to be, okay, a bit of a repeat, if you will. 5th fret A, 5th fret D, so got to roll that, and I'm going to cut that, and then play that root note again, the 7th fret A string. So chunk 1, chunk 2. So just work that, pause this video, get that that perfect, get it under your fingers. Chunk 3 is, so I'm kind of reversing it. 5th fret D string, 7th fret A string, 5th fret A string. And then finally, chunk 4, if you will, is 4th fret, the note of C sharp. That's kind of the fun note that's not quite supposed to be there, but it is in, yes, it's just a lot of fun. 4th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the A string. And that right there is pretty much the main riff. Get that under your fingers first, and then once you're there, occasionally they add in this really cool little chromatic thing where it's like, and you're noticing I'm doing some upstrumming there. That's because that's kind of part of the groove and kind of where it comes in. That's the 2nd fret A, 3rd fret A, and 4th fret A. And go ahead and listen to the groove, listen to the song, play along a little bit, slow it down, get it dialed in. You're going to have a lot of fun and enjoy yourself. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Also, there's a Patreon guide in my Patreon. You got to be a $5 a month member. It does help me a lot to actually pay my bills with guitar. It's such a blessing, so thank you, by the way. But I've got the tab in there, and I've got those chords as well, so you guys can kind of see it, and makes it a little bit easier for everybody. All right, thanks, guys.